This is VVVVVV. It's actually almost 6 years old now, which I was surprised to find out, because it's always shocking to learn that something you used to enjoy is now getting up there in the years because of what it says about you as well. So this is a platformer. It's one of these one-hit death games, which I tend to enjoy, and I'm pretty sure that's a sign of some kind of mental illness. It's emulating, I think, games from the Atari era, from the 80s, because there's another game like this on Steam called You Have to Win This Game or something like that, which is a free game, and it's based on the same thing. And so in this, what you do is you just have your left and right, and then you have your action button, which flips you, and that's the entire premise of the game, is you're moving from left to right, and you're just flipping yourself to land on platforms. And the story, I skipped through all of it, but there really isn't a lot. It's basically, you've crash landed on this planet, I think is what it is, and the planet's name turns out to be the name of the game, which is VVVVVV. So you're walking through this planet trying to find all your crew members, which have been scattered throughout it before escaping. And also on this planet there's these trinkets you can collect. And I mean, I haven't played this game probably since it came out, right? I just went back to do this review because I remembered really enjoying it. And from the brief time I spent doing this review, I can see why. But yeah, so you grab the trinkets, and I think they just unlock, there's like a karaoke thing in the base, and it's just unlocking tracks for that. And I think there's also some challenge modes you unlock as well. The only problem I really had with this game was, I think it takes about like an hour to beat, hour or maybe 90 minutes your first time. It's not that long, but the problem I had was the backgrounds. After staring at it for 30 minutes or so, you kind of get that Guitar Hero effect where the entire screen starts to look like it's moving or melting. So usually what I do when I play this now is I turn the backgrounds off just to take that strain off the eyes, and then you're able to play for an entire sitting without getting the additional handicap of now seeing your screen move when it's not moving. But that's really an art style thing, and it affects some people more than others, right? Like, this is going back to genetics and individual health and whatnot, so it'll bother some people more than others, and it didn't really bother me. It's just, it kind of messes with the image quality over time. The soundtrack is outstanding. It's probably the best track on it is the one that imitates Guile's theme from Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo. I'm trying to remember the name of the track here. I think it's Pushing Onwards. The and that's that's enough of my riffing. That's all I'm gonna force upon you. But this isn't the hardest game I've ever played. Like, if you played Super Meat Boy, it's not that challenging. It's actually, there's another game out there that I'm probably gonna do a review of. It's called Mr. Bree. And VVVVVV is actually easier than that as well. So, to give you an idea, you're going to die a lot, but the deaths are pretty quick. And none of the platforming is really that difficult to figure out what you're supposed to be doing. It's just doing it enough times to get the muscle memory down to execute it properly. And that's really why I enjoy these. And when I was doing this video, I was hoping to come across the one section. There's a notorious area for collecting one trinket, where there's just like 5 or 6 screens of spikes where you're falling in one direction. You collect the trinket, then you fall, back in the other direction, and there's no checkpoint in between. So it's quite skillful. So I was gonna try and show that off in this video, but because it's open world, I couldn't remember where it was. So I didn't find that, and I spent a bit of time in this video as well trying to screw around and figure out where the next actual stage is, because I mean, it's not a flaw of this game. There's some open world going on here. You don't just go from stage to stage. You have to find your way from A to B on your own, kind of like Metroid. But just so you're aware that that's there. But you don't get any upgrades or anything. You're just, throughout the whole game, it's left and right, flipping up and down, and then each stage has its own gimmick you need to figure out in order to progress. So it's one of those puzzle Twitch platformers. I like the art style. I like the music. I like the challenge. I like how the game's over pretty quickly, because if it was too long, I just get exhausted by the high difficulty. You know, over time these games tend to do that. Like a game like Super Meat Boy, I think it took me a year to 100% just because I couldn't just sit down and play that, you know, week after week. But this is, you buy it, you do it in one sitting, and you're going to remember it for, you know, every now and then you're gonna get the itch to go back to play it, because it's short and sweet and it's highly memorable. So whether it's on sale or not, I'd recommend picking it up. I don't think these guys have done anything since, but you know, this is one of those things where it comes out, it's big, and then it's do they ever top it really? Probably not. So go enjoy this, despite the fact that it's essentially kind of derivative and it's, you know, it's genre and what it's doing. It's still very unique.